So today we will go to the second part or the remaining part of the play Nagmandala by Girish Karnad. In the last lecture, we discussed all the necessary informations, the literary career of Girish Karnad. Then we discussed the important characters like Rani, Apanna. Then we discussed Kurdava. We discussed the fourth important character, the Naga, that is Cobra, in our last lecture. We saw a very sorry picture of the married life of Rani. We saw what kind of cruel husband Apanna is, and what kind of a Sati Savitri type of wife Rani is. We see that in the beginning of the story, there is a vast difference between the personalities of the husband, that is Apanna, and the wife, that is Rani. And Apanna is so cruel that he continuously visits concubines even after the marriage. Right? We saw that Apanna lost his parents very early. We saw that Apanna goes to visit the prostitutes, that is concubines, every night, and he keeps his wife locked in the house all alone, and he comes back home next day only to have the lunch. Right? We also saw Rani, yes, as she is tolerating all these injustice. Right? Rani is very submissive, very silent, and she does what? She just silently tolerates all these tortures and cruelties of her husband. Right? As we know that Rani has not been touched by her husband. Right? And we also saw that Apanna neglects Rani. Right? So Rani is just nothing more than a maid for Apanna. So it is the duty of Rani to cook and to take care of the household duties. And Apanna uses very harsh words while dealing with Rani. Right? He just orders, do this, do that, right? Like that. So Rani has none other than a hell's life. Right? Still, she is hopeful that the situation can be changed in the future. So, like a submissive woman, she tolerates all these things. And we move forward that there is a friend of Rani, that is Kurdava. We discussed about Kurdava in our last lecture. Right? And Kurdava, as we know, that's the only person she can meet. And Rani shares her feelings, right? Her grief to Kurdava. And Kurdava has a great sympathy for Rani. Right? And Kurdava is very shocked to see the harsh words used by Apanna. Right? We discussed that thing yesterday also. Right? And Kurdava gives some gift to Rani. We saw yesterday that Kurdava offers a love root to Rani, right? And asks Rani to mix it in the food of Apanna. And Kurdava was sure that after consuming this root, Apanna would start loving her and all her problems would be solved. And Rani decides, as she has no other option, to follow this trick. And the next day, she prepares the food, the lunch, and mixes that, what you say, liquid of the root in the food. But at the same time, she was very anxious. She was very worried what the effects of that love root on the health of her husband. she was afraid that could have a very negative impact on his health, right? So she becomes scared, and in the moment of panic, she throws that curry or that food into the ant hill, right? And what happens? The next turning point in the story comes over here. We discuss that a king cobra in that ant pool tastes that liquid and immediately falls in love with Rani. We also saw that this magical cobra is not an ordinary cobra, but having some
He has
supernatural powers.
supernatural powers.
So this cobra can assume any form or let's say body as it likes. So popularly it is called as Ichhadari Nag. And now this Nag, this king cobra, is mad for Rani. And this Nag, who is in love with Rani, comes to visit the house of Rani in the night. And he takes the disguise, as we know, disguise means Veshantar, disguise, or let's say the human shape of Apanna. And the original Apanna is not present in the house. He is where? He is in the house of the prostitute, that is the concubine. Right? So the Naga, the cobra, gets a chance and he assumes the body of Apanna and he starts loving Rani. And Rani is so much surprised to see the changed behavior of Apanna. Rani has no idea that the person with whom she is sleeping is not Apanna but a snake, the king cobra, right? And Rani becomes so happy and she forgets all the tortures and cruelties of her husband, right? And what happens? The Naga, in the form of Apanna, has sexual relationship with Rani, and Rani becomes pregnant, right? So Rani gives this information, this good news to Apanna, her
Her
real
husband,
husband,
Apanna.
right? But Apanna is shocked to learn this, and immediately he accuses her of adultery. We saw the meaning of the word adultery as Vavichar, right? And says that he is not the biological or its original father of this child, and she must have, yes, blackened her face, means she must have some extramarital affair with some other man. So he rejects the fatherhood of that child in her womb, and Rani is so much shocked. Rani tries her level best to prove her innocence. She tells Rani that there is nobody in the world with whom she has slept, right? And she just allowed to touch Apanna only. As we know that Rani has no idea that with whom she has shared the bed, right? So a confusion is there between the husband and the wife. So the husband, Apanna, becomes angry and takes his matter to the village panchayat, right? And he requests the panchayat, right, to solve the issue and declare Rani as a characterless woman and to punish her, right?
Yes.
Is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
Right? Okay, let's move forward. So, the charge of adultery, Babichar, is there against Rani by Apanna. And Apanna scolds Rani. Here, scold means to use harsh words. Scolds in the words like, tell me who is it? Who did you go to with your sari off? Sari off means naked body. With whom you have shared your naked body. You haven't, and if you have bloated tummy. See the harsh words. Bloated means enlarged tummy. And you think I will let you get away with that? You shame me in front of the whole village. You shame me, right? It's a matter of shame for me, right? That my wife is pregnant without any touch by her husband, right? So you darken my face, you slut. So Aparna uh, abuses Rani and calls her a slut. Here, slut means prostitute. What happens? As Rani is innocent and she has no idea what actually has happened with her, and she is innocent. And she cannot understand why her husband doubted on her and she is the victim, not the sinner. Sinner, S-I-N-N-E-R. Sinner means papi. S-I-N, sin means pap. So she even asks her husband. She tries to prove her innocence. She helplessly asks Aparna, why are you humiliating me like this? Humiliating means insulting. So she requests Aparna not to take this matter to the panchayat because the whole people in the village would come to know, right, the situation of married life of Rani and Aparna. So she requests Aparna not to take this matter to the panchayat, but Aparna rejects her request, right? And Rani requests that why are you stripping me naked in front of the whole village? Stripping म्हणजे अंगावरचे कपडे काढणे, नग्न करणे. राईट म्हणजे मला पूर्ण गावासमोर माझ्या अंगावरचे कपडे काढून मला माझी इज्जत का घेत आहात अशा प्रकारची रिक्वेस्ट राणी कोणाला करते तर Aparna. Right? So Rani requests her husband, why don't you kill me instead? So murder me, but don't take this matter to the panchayat. So I would have killed myself, but there is not even a rope in this house me to use, right? Even a rope for hanging herself. What Rani tells her husband that I would have hung myself up. ते स्वतः आत्महत्या करून घेतली असती, पण या घरामध्ये दोरी सुद्धा नाहीये स्वतः फाशी घेण्यासाठी, राईट? सी द anguish, see the painful situation of the mind of Rani, right? जायचं पुढे.
हो सर.
Then what is the reply of Aparna then? Then he replied that what am I to do? Is the whole world against me? Have I sinned so much that even nature should laugh at me? I know I have not slept with my wife. Let the world say that it likes. Let any miracle declare her goddess. But I know what sense am I to make of my life that's worth nothing. See the red line. I have not slept with my wife. So I even did not touch my wife, and how she can be pregnant? So see, very harsh words have been used by the husband upon over here, right? So in that village, there is a custom to prove the innocence. And what is that custom? That a criminal or the person who has committed some mistake is asked to hold a snake in the hand, and if the person has done some crime, the snake would bite the person and automatically that person would be punished. But if that person is innocent, that snake would not bite that person. It would mean that the person is innocent. So that was the custom in that. So
Yes.
the panchayat asks Rani to face this kind of test. And Rani decides to face this fidelity test, F-I-D-E-L-I-Q-I, means loyalty test, innocence test, right? Okay, then she puts her hand in the ant hill, right, and pulls out the snake. She holds the snake in her hand. She holds the snake in her hand. Now the whole village is very eager to know. They want to know the reaction of the snake. The snake is very dangerous, very poisonous, and the snake is none other than the cobra, the इच्छाधारी नाग, right? कोण आहे तो तिच्या हातातला कोबरा मग?
नागा, किंग कोबरा.
तोच नागचा प्रियकर, राईट? तो तिला चावेल का मग?
नाही.
No, and actually this happens. So that naga, that cobra does what? That naga, that cobra does not bite Rani, right? What that naga does, right? That naga stares at Rani, and Rani takes the oath, shapat घेते, that she has not touched any other of the male sex, nor she has allowed any other male to touch her. Right? And if she is telling a lie, let this cobra bite me to death. Right? So she waits, and the whole village also waits, and they are again very keen to see the reply or the response of the cobra. And what the cobra does, what the naga does, the naga does not bite her. The naga spreads its hood over her head. Hood, H-O-O-D. What is the meaning of hood? Yes?
No idea.
H-O-O-D. Hood. त्याला आपण नागाचा काय म्हणतो? फणा म्हणतो बघा.
फणा.
Right? Hood, it is called. What? The naga spreads its hood over her head. Over her head. ज्याप्रमाणे शिवलिंगावर नागबग असा फणा काढून उभा असतो प्रोटेक्शन म्हणून, त्याचप्रमाणे त्या राणीच्या डोक्यावरती तो फणा काढून असा उभा राहतो, म्हणजेच जणूच काही राणीला प्रोटेक्ट करण्यासाठी. राईट? राणी इज व्हेरी सायलेंट. ओके. The naga spreads its hood over her head and moves round her neck like a garland. Like a garland. आणि हा साप काय करतो? तिच्या डोक्यावर जाऊन फणा तर काढतोच, राईट? आणि त्यानंतर तिच्या गळ्यामध्ये एक ज्याप्रमाणे फुलांची माळ कशी असते ना, त्याप्रमाणे असा तो हँग, म्हणजे काय, लटकलेला राहतो. राईट? The cobra does not bite her, and automatically the panchayat declares Rani as innocent. Not only innocent, but they are very much impressed by the behavior of the cobra, and they declare that Rani is not an ordinary person, but Rani is just like a goddess. राणी ही साधी सुधी स्त्री नाहीये, तर कोण आहे? एका देवीचं रूप आहे. राईट? अँड ऑन द कॉन्ट्ररी द पंचायत asks Apanna to serve such kind of divine wife as she is a goddess. पंचायत म्हणते, अरे बाबा वेड्या, अपर्णा ही तुझी बायको अतिशय पवित्र आहे, ही देवीचं रूप आहे, हिची तू सेवा कर, हिच्याशी भांडू नको. राईट? बघ साप बघ, सापाने सुद्धा तिचं देवीत्व मान्य केलेलं आहे. And the panchayat members asks Rani for blessings. आणि पंचायत मधले मेंबर्स सुद्धा आता राणीच्या पाया पडायला लागले. तू देवी आहे, देवीचा अवतार आहे अशा पद्धतीने. Aparna is shocked to see all these things, right? So Aparna has no option, and we can see the change in the behavior of Aparna. And after this test, the couple, Aparna and Rani, returns back to home, and Aparna falls at Rani's feet and asks her to forgive him, seeks her pardon for the sin. And Rani, with a great heart, forgives him. Now Aparna changes her behavior. Aparnaला आता त्याच्या चुकीचे पश्चाताप होतो आणि तो तिची माफी मागतो. And at the time of the test, in the crowd of the villagers, one member is also there, and that was the concubine or the prostitute with whom Aparna shares the bed. आणि त्या गावकऱ्यांच्या घोळक्यामध्ये अजून एक स्त्री असते. ती स्त्री म्हणजे कोण असते तर ती वेश्या असते. तीच वेश्या ज्याकडे Aparna रोज रात्री जातो. And that prostitute, that concubine, right, also wants to wash her sins off. She accepts Rani as her goddess, and she decides to be the maid of Rani forever as a repentance of her sins. See the word repentance. Repentance म्हणजे क्या पश्चाताप. आणि जेव्हा साप राणीसोबत असं वागतो आणि राणी ही देवी म्हणून डिक्लेअर केली जाते, तर त्या गर्दीमध्ये कोणाची ती वेश्या उभी असते आणि तिलाही तिच्या पापांची लाज वाटते आणि ती म्हणते की मी आजपासून कोणाची सेवा करणार आहे तर राणीची. मी कोणासोबत राहणार आहे? राणीसोबत राहणार आहे, तिची सेवा करणार आहे आणि माझं पाप धुवण्याचा प्रयत्न करणार आहे. Right? Now, in that house, we have one more member, that is the concubine. Right? So, after some days, Rani gives birth to a son. Rani gives birth to a son. And here, there is a happy ending of the present drama. Right? And on the stage, we hear the sound of the narrator or the playwright and the flames also, right? The flames started giving their feedback to the narrator, to the playwright or to the story. The flames are not satisfied with such an incomplete end. The flames complain that the end is not complete, right? Because the story does not tell about Cobra, where it has gone, right? So the flame requests the narrator, the writer, the playwriter, the dramatist to change the ending of the story. To change the ending of the story. As the narrator is the story writer, he can change the story, right? He has the freedom. So the flames complain to the story writer, that the narrator, the writer, to change the story and tell them what happens to the cobra, right? Where it has gone, where it has disappeared. So the writer accepts the request of the flames, and again he resumes the story with some new ending. What happens now? As we know that Rani has given birth to a son. All the characters are happy now. right? Aparna is changed now. He started loving his wife Rani as an incarnation of the goddess. Incarnation means रूप. देवाचं रूप समजून तो तिची सेवा करतोय, बायकोवर प्रेम करतोय, right? Rani, she has got the love of her husband, right? Then she got a maid, that is a concubine. Then she got a son. Means all her dreams come to true reality now, right? And the narrator resumes the story. And what the narrator tells now, that one day the cobra comes to see Rani. So there is an entry of cobra in the story. So the story continues. And the cobra comes over there, and the cobra is missing his beloved, that is Rani. He enters into the house in human form. He takes the shape of human body, that is of Apanna, right? And he
Apanna.
enters into the bedroom. And when that naga, that cobra, enters into the bedroom, he is jealous and angry to see Rani in the arms of her husband. And a child is sleeping with them. So on the cot, Rani is there in the arms of her husband, and a son is there, and three of them are sleeping. The concubine is sleeping in the next room. Right? Now the concubine is a maid now. So Cobra is very jealous and angry. Right? Why he is jealous? Because Cobra cannot tolerate that her beloved, her girlfriend, or let's say whatever, Rani, is in the arms of her husband. Right? And Cobra thinks that Rani got the husband because of him. Rani got the child because of him. Rani got the maid because of him. Rani got all the satisfactions in married life because of the contribution of Cobra. Right? And see what Rani is doing. As we know that Rani has no idea, right, about Cobra and all that drama. So the Cobra is jealous. The Cobra cannot tolerate that Rani is sleeping with her husband, right? And Cobra comes close to the cot, and Cobra finds long tresses hanging from the edge of the cot. Do you know the meaning of the word tresses? Tresses. So Rani is having long tresses. Yet the meaning of the word tresses is long, thick, and dark hair. So Rani's long tresses, Rani's hair, hanging from the edge of the cot. म्हणजे पलंगाच्या कोपऱ्याला असे केस जे आहेत तिचे कसे आहेत, मोकळे आहेत, आणि ते काय करतायत, हँगिंग म्हणजे लटकलेले आहेत. राईट? केस तिचे मोकळे आहेत. राईट? And the cobra cannot imagine Rani in her husband's arms. So Cobra becomes angry and he decides to kill Rani by biting into her breast and thus making her his beloved forever. Now the Cobra is very angry and he wants to kill Rani by biting her into her breast and making her beloved, his beloved forever. If Rani dies, what would happen? She would be united with the Cobra like that. But the next moment, Cobra thinks that he loved Rani very much, so he cannot bite Rani. So he changes his mind. But what happens? Cobra cannot live without Rani. So he needs Rani desperately. He is in a bad condition without Rani. The Cobra cannot imagine a life without Rani. Right? So this is the thing. Now what happens? So he cancels his plan to kill Rani. And over here, the story forwards towards the ending. See, I gave the title ending number 1 to this slide. I gave the title ending number 1, right? So it indicates that the drama has more than one ending, right? So this drama, present drama, has 2 endings, right? So let's focus on the first ending, right? So now Naga loves Rani, so he cannot bite her. His love for Rani has turned him a deadly king cobra into a harmless grass snake, an ordinary reptile. Reptile means सरपटणारा प्राणी. आता नागाची अवस्था कशी झाली आहे? हा किंग कोब्रा जो आहे, having supernatural powers, is helpless now. He is helpless because he madly loves Rani. He cannot imagine a life without Rani. आणि ह्या राणी शिवाय मी जिवंत राहू शकत नाही, राईट, असं तो आता म्हणतोय. आणि हा इतका डेंजरस कोब्रा, इतका विषारी कोब्रा, हा कसा झालाय आता? जस्ट लाईक ग्रास स्नेक, मीन्स an ordinary snake, right? So he accepts that it is not possible for a snake to turn into a human being forever, right? So for a snake, it is not impossible. It is not possible actually to remain in the human body forever. म्हणजेच माणसाचं शरीर धारण करणे हे त्या सापाला आयुष्यभर शक्य होणार नाही. So what Naga does, he accepts that after all he is a snake and that he has to cast off his skin every season. Cast off, काढून टाकणे. सापाला काय करावं लागतं? काही वेळानंतर, काही दिवसानंतर स्वतःची कातडी काय करावी लागते? काढून टाकावी लागते. त्याला कात टाकतो आपण, बरोबर आहे? आणि हा आपला कोबरा विचार करतोय that he cannot claim Rani as his wife, as he got some limitations. He cannot hold the body of a human for a longer period. आणि माणसाच्या शरीरामध्ये तो जास्त दिवस राहू शकत नाही. त्याला काही दिवसांनी त्याची कातडी काढून टाकावी लागते. So it is impossible for him to retain his human form forever, like that. So he comes near Rani. His heart is full of love for Rani. And what he does, he smells her long, thick and dark tresses and feels that her locks of her hair are like him, long and called reptile. Reptile means sarpatnara prani. What Cobra feels, right? Cobra feels that there is a similarity between his body and the tresses, right? Cobra feels that his body is cold, his body is long, and his body is dark also, right? And in the same way, the hair, the long hair, that is tresses of Rani, are the same, that is long, thick and cold. He smells her hair. And the Cobra decides something, right? And Cobra does what? He uses his magical power for the last time to reduce himself to the size of her hair. right? So with the help of his supernatural power, he reduces his size, right? And gets the shape, the length of the hair of Rani, right? And the long cobra, the long king cobra becomes small and thin in size with the help of his supernatural powers, right? Now he can easily enter into her hair. So with the help of his supernatural powers, he reduces his size, right? And he becomes thin. And the dangerous, poisonous king cobra, who is in mad in love with Rani, enters into the tresses of Rani. And Rani's tresses cover him, and he dances with joy in the long and thick and dark hair of Rani. Right? आता नाग कुठे घुसला आहे तर राणीच्या लांब अशा केसांमध्ये घुसलेला आहे. त्याला आनंद होत आहे त्याच्या केसांसोबत खेळायला. ते केसांचा वास त्याला मोहित करतो आहे. राईट? आणि माझं आयुष्य आता मी इथंच राहणार आहे, या केसांमध्येच राहणार आहे, असा हा डेंजरस पॉइझनस स्नेक स्वतःला म्हणतो आणि तो अतिशय आनंदी झालेला आहे. As we know that hair does not have any sensation, so Rani becomes undisturbed in her sleep. राणी झोपेलीच आहे. केसांना स्पर्श केला तरी आपलं सेन्सेशन होत नाही, राईट? त्यामुळे हा साप त्या केसांमध्ये गेलेला आहे, तर राणीला कोणतीही जाणीव झालेली नाही, ती झोपलेलीच आहे, शांत झोपलेली आहे तिच्या नवऱ्याच्या मिठीमध्ये. And what happens? Finally, the naga does what? Naga, yes, ties a trees into a noose. Noose, N-O-O-S-E. Noose म्हणजे काय? हँगिंग, फाशी लावणे म्हणतो आपण त्याला. नूज मीन्स फाशी लावणे. And Naga prepares one end of the hair of Rani as a noose and places around his neck and dies. The Naga hangs itself and dies. So Naga commits a suicide. हा नाग काय करतो? आत्महत्या करतोय. म्हणजेच त्या राणीच्या केसांचा एक बट, म्हणजे काही केस तो एकत्र करतो आणि त्या केसांचा फास बनवतो आणि तो फास कुठे टाकतो? मग स्वतःच्या गळ्याभोवती टाकतो आणि एक प्रकारे हा नाग स्वतःला फाशी लावून घेतो. अँड द नागा डाईज. द नागा डाईज. राणी हॅज नो आयडिया व्हॉट इज गोइंग ऑन in her long, thick and dark hair, right?
Yes.
Yes. Hey, Arsan, पुढे जायचं?
हो सर.
And what happens? Purdawa, the character, comes over there and she enters and wakes Aparna and Rani. Rani, yes, she wakes up and she is sitting on the bed now, on the cot now, and she feels that her head is heavy. Why her head is heavy? Yes?
किंग कोब्रा आहे ना तिच्या केसांमध्ये.
Right. So she feels that her head is so heavy, and actually the hair is heavy because of the weight of the cobra. So she tries to comb her hair.
Yes.
C-O-M-B. What is comb?
विंचरणे, केस विंचरायचा प्रयत्न करते ती.
Yes, she tries to comb her hair, but unable because snake is there. So when she tries to comb her hair, a dead cobra falls down on the ground. See how terrible. How terrible. So a dead cobra falls down on the ground And Aparna and Rani are happy that their child is safe. The cobra is dead, right? And Aparna and Rani are happy that their child is safe, their son is safe, and her hair has saved their lives. The king cobra is dead because of her hair. And again, Aparna is impressed by the divine power of Rani, right? So he calls his wife Rani a divine person that, oh, Rani, you must be possessing some supernatural power. You killed this dangerous and poisonous snake. You saved me and you also saved our child. You are so good. You are so nice. You are a goddess to me like that. So Rani and Aparna feels that they have been given the gift of the life by Cobra, who could otherwise kill him, right? So Rani feels that the Cobra has acted like a father. She asks Aparna that the Cobra should be cremated honorably with all the rites, and their son should light the funeral fire when the Cobra is cremated. Rani requests her husband that okay, the cobra is dead now, and as cobra is what is a replica of the god, symbol of God, right? So it is their duty that they should cremate the cobra honorably. Cremate means काय? क्रियाक्रम करणे, right? हा जो कोबरा आहे त्याचं क्रियाक्रम आपण केलं पाहिजे. Cremated honorably and with all rights. जे हिंदू धर्माप्रमाणे त्याचं आपण क्रियाक्रम केलं पाहिजे. And their son should light the funeral pyre. See the word pyre, P-Y-R-E. Here pyre means चिता, लाकडांची चिता, right? As you know that in Hindu religion, the dead bodies are destroyed with flames, and a systematic structure is built of the woods, right? लाकडांचे systematic structure तयार करतात, त्याला चिता म्हणतो आपण. And Rani asks her husband that we should follow same kind of funeral for this cobra also, and whom should we allow to light the funeral pyre? That our child, our son. आणि आपला मुलगा हा त्या सापाला अग्निडाग देईल, त्याला चित्याला अग्नी देईल अशा पद्धतीने, right? So all the characters are happy. Here is the ending number 1, right? Ending number 1. What happens?
1.
We have again a discussion between the playwright, the narrator, and the flames, right? The playwright or the narrator tells the flames that the story is over. But again, the flames are so sad for the tragic death of the cobra, right? And the flames asks the narrator why stories have sad endings. And as he is the narrator, he can change the ending of the story. So again, the flames are not satisfied with such kind of sad ending. So they do not accept the death of cobra over here. They complain that Rani got all these things because of cobra, and why should cobra have such kind of a tragic end at the end, right? So the flame requests the narrator, the story writer, to change the ending. Again, the narrator accepts the request of the flames and again gives a second ending. Now there is a resummation of the story also. The story again continues. So the story leads towards ending number 2. And what happens in ending number 2? Rani and Aparna are still sleeping on the cot with the baby son. Okay? Till this moment, everything is as the same, right? काही बदल झालेला नाहीये. ते तिघही जण कॉटवर असे झोपलेले आहेत. बरोबर आहे? तिचे केस असेच कॉटच्या खाली लोथळता आहेत. फरचीपर्यंत. ठीक आहे, इथपर्यंत ऍज इट इज आहे, काही बदल झालेला नाही. कळतंय का?
येस सर.
Right. Now there is a change now in the story. Right? Suddenly, Rani, as you know that the cobra has entered into the hair. Okay. Where is the cobra now?
Yes, sir.
Into the hair of Rani. Right?
Rani.
Okay. Rani wakes up and complains upon her that her head is heavy. Okay. So she feels as if somebody is pulling her hair, and she tries to comb her hair. And she is surprised. Aparna is also surprised that a tiny, here tiny means very small size, live snake falls down from her tresses. काय बदल झाला बरं आता स्टोरी मध्ये? तिच्या केसांमधून काय पडला आता मग?
जिवंत साप पडला, छोटा.
जिवंत live snake falls down from her tresses. Rani and Aparna are terrified. अतिशय घाबरतात. Right? And they surprised that they think how it got into her hair. हा तिच्या केसामध्ये आलाच कसं काय? They thank God that both of them and the child are safe. Right? Aparna rushes out to the kitchen to get a stick to kill cobra. Right? आणि Aparna कुठे जातो? तर मग किचन मध्ये जातो काय आणण्यासाठी?
काठी.
Yes. काठी कशाला आणतोय?
कोबराला मारायला.
Right. And what happens? See the turning in the story. Now, in that bedroom, three characters are there. The child is sleeping, Rani is there, and Cobra is there. Right? And Aparna is in the kitchen searching a stick. Now Rani starts talking with Cobra over here. And Rani asks the cobra why it has come here and asks him to run away as Aparna would kill it. Right? So Rani asks cobra to run away from the spot. Otherwise, Aparna would kill him with a stick. And Rani wants to save the cobra. Rani asks the cobra to come and hide itself in her long, thick, and dark hair. And cobra does what? Cobra is now ready. Rani allows her long hair down to the floor, and the small, tiny cobra enters into her tresses. The cobra quickly climbs into her hair and settles there safely. And Rani hides cobra in her tresses. Rani ensures the cobra that it can stay in her tresses forever. See the word forever. So there is a reunion forever between Rani and the cobra. Right? And Rani ensures the cobra that soon she will get used to carry his weight that is on her head. Because of the weight of the snake, her head seems to be heavy for Rani, but she is ready to tolerate this weight of the cobra. When Aparna returns with a stick, finds no snake, he asks Rani where the snake has gone, and Rani lies that the cobra has gone towards the bathroom, and Aparna rushes there. Aparna again searches for the cobra, but no cobra is there. And Rani silently lifts her baby and starts feeding it as if nothing has happened. Right? The flames disappear. Now the flames are satisfied with this kind of ending. Right? The curtain falls and the play has a happy ending over here. Right? So here is the ending, full of happiness and satisfaction. So we have two endings over here. In one ending, there is a sad note of the death of the cobra, and in the second ending, there is no death but the union forever regarding Rani and the cobra. So the whole story is very much interested and enjoyable. I hope you have understood the story very